In Flames is back once again in 2014 with the brand new studio album, I'm Chainsaw. This is my review of the brand new In Flames record entitled Siren Charms. So all the singles that the band put out before this release to kind of promote this album, all of them singles, I did not hear any of them. I wanted to hear this entire album by itself and not hear anything prior to it. I just wanted to get the entire experience all at once, and that's what I did. So what are my thoughts about Siren Charms? Well, quite frankly, this is the easiest way I can explain it, and you'll see throughout the review why I think this. So, everything on this album, everything included on this album, vocals, lyrical content, guitars, bass, drums, synthesizers, the songwriting, all of that, has its positives, and also has its negatives. So every time you see a positive or negative, you hear me say those words, understand there's a negative or positive that comes after it. So there's nothing on this album that I consider to be bad and terrible, all of it. It's just that some of it's bad and some of it's good. So I can't definitively say, well, you know, the guitars, they're all bad. It's not the case. The case is that some moments the guitars are great and fantastic. In other moments it's just boring and bland. And it makes me wonder, what happened? So anyways, let's talk about this record. So of course, In Flames has got to a lot of controversy because the band has went through some changes musically, and they've done some things. They've went more of a mainstream, that people love to use that word. They use it so much that I think that it loses its meaning at a certain point. It just loses its meaning when you say the word mainstream so much involved with bands and everything. It's ridiculous. But understandably, I understand why the fans are upset, because In Flames has changed their sound, but it is what it is. Siren Charms, I think, incorporates a lot of the new things that they've been doing in the past couple albums in a good way and in a bad way. I'm not against more commercially accepted metal. I'm not against that. But when a band does it in a way that it's just like they didn't even try, that's when I have a problem. And I feel like that some of the songs on this album, they didn't even try to kind of write in a unique way. They kind of just wrote it in a very simplistic way and just kind of shoehorned it and threw it in and said, okay, that's going to work. Because some of the songs on this album, I think, stand out in a big way. They have a lot of things going for them. Siren Charms has songs that keep your attention throughout the whole entire song. It has a very strong opening. It holds all the way through. The verses have something going for it. The verses sound exciting. The choruses may be a little generic and it's all upbeat and stuff, but at least it's catchy and it's still keeping your attention. Then the solo comes in and that keeps your attention as well. And the riffs are pretty catchy. The vocals are doing pretty good. And the ending is kind of like the beginning. It's exciting. It's got your attention. And so that song is a success because it's not just one consistent thing that's keeping your attention. It keeps switching to different things you kind of focus on. And this album has some of those songs and has some of those moments that keep your attention and keeps you exciting, at least for me. But then you get to the next song, after this one's done, the one that kept your excitement, it's doing all these cool things. Then the next song on this record, the next one will be intro. It's an intro, but it's not really doing anything. And then you get to the verse, and the verse is just very slow, or it's boring. Now, slow is not bad, but when you do slow to where there's nothing going on, it's just slow to be slow. And the vocals are not really doing much until we get right to the chorus, and then the chorus is all upbeat and crazy. It's like, whoa, what happened? And the chorus is very, very generic. Not like the song you just heard prior that's really good, but the chorus is just generic, and it's just like, okay, we gotta harmonize to make it exciting. Okay. And then you get to the solo, and it's okay. The ending, kind of bland like the beginning. Not really much going on. It just kind of ends. And then it makes me just wonder, was this band writing really, really good songs and then had throwaway songs that kind of just decided to shoehorn in to this? I hope that's not the case, but that's what it sounds like to me. Let's go to actual specific tracks. I'm going to list off my personal favorite tracks. And before that, I do want to talk about one particular song that is not a part of my favorite tracks, but I just do want to talk about it because it really did bother me. But essentially, you know, we'll get to my favorites in a second. This is the song I have. This I have a major issue with. This is one of the things that I really wanted to talk about. The final track on this album, if you just talk about the basic thing, the basic one, not the limited edition or whatever, or the special edition that has the 2 bonus songs. The final track on the standard edition, Filtered Truth, is the final song on this album. And when you listen to an album, it doesn't matter what band, doesn't matter what genre, when the final song on an album comes and you finally get to it, it's supposed to have a lot of going. It's supposed to have this epic ending vibe, right? It's supposed to have this like, oh my gosh, that song is awesome. You know, this is good. This is great. This song, Filtered Truth, track number 11. No, the opening riff sounds very generic, and it's not exciting. It's just very generic, and it just sounds kind of like the riff they came up with the idea within like 5 seconds. The riff just doesn't have a lot going for it. And the song, very, very generic sounding. The solo, I will have to give it. The solo for that song in the final track is a little bit exciting. It kind of pulled me in for a minute. But then when we get back to the choruses and the ending, which is a weird ending, it's kind of like these just sounds, I just really question, did they really put a lot of effort into that final song, or were they hoping you buy the special edition with the 2 bonus songs? Because I didn't hear those. But when you standard edition, where most people are going to listen to, and the final song does not have that epic ending vibe, it's just like it's kind of like 3 or 4 other songs on this album that is very generic sounding. I really have an issue with that, because some of the songs on this album, the songs that I really do enjoy, they should have ended the album. One of them should have ended the album. It would have ended this album on a positive note at least, but this song, not so much. Let's go through my favorite songs, and the ones I do not list are some of the songs I have issues with. So I'm just go through my positives. My positives, the ones I don't list, which is all in the description, the track listing, are the ones I have an issue with. In Plain View, intro, it's a good song. It's a good intro. I have to give it that. Everything's Gone, have to give it that. It's a good song. Through Oblivion's one of the singles, I believe. This song, you know, people gave this song crap, and also Rusted Nail, which were the 2 singles I think they put out at the same time. I do enjoy those songs. You know, they're not epic and amazing and great, but they do offer something, so I have to give them that. But anyways, In Plain View, track number 1, Everything's Gone, track number 2. Through Oblivion, track number 4. With Eyes Wide Open, track number 5. Siren Charms, I love the intro. The intro is so good. It's kind of simple, I guess you could say, but the intro is great. I enjoy it. It's just really a really good intro, and I enjoy the song. It's just a very catchy song. When the World Explodes. Now this features a guest vocalist who will be in the description. Really good. It was a female vocalist, and it was just really, really cool to hear, you know, the band and her kind of go back and forth. And so, When the World Explodes, Rusted Nail. Monsters in the Ballroom, track number 10. Interesting track name. You know, the song is kind of catchy in the sense of being catchy, but I can understand if fans are disgusted by the song and just like, oh, this is stupid. But for me, the title is kind of interesting, and the song is kind of interesting, but I just want to throw that in there. But the ones I did not mention are ones that I have issues with, of course. So, as you all guys know, if you guys know who I am very bad with band member names. I'm very bad with it. So, out of respect for the band, even though I've given this album some negative stuff, and, you know, talk a little bit more positives as we get to the actual band themselves, talking about their guitars and all that stuff. Out of respect, I will not try to pronounce their names. Their names are in the description if you want to follow along as I go through this. But I will not try to pronounce their names out of respect, because saying someone's name, you know, saying someone's name wrong is very disrespectful in my personal opinion. So I'm going to, you know, not say their names. Vocals. Let's start off with vocals, of course, as I always do. Now, I've said that, you know, everything on this album is positives and negatives, so understand that. But I feel like the vocals, at least for the most part, the majority of it, I think, is positive. You know, the vocals, there's great harmony there. The vocalist is doing very, very good. He sounds like he's, you know, back in a couple albums that I've really enjoyed. Some of their earlier 2000 releases I've really enjoyed. So his vocal performance is great. You know, his kind of growls are pretty good. His actual singing, I think, is great. The lyrical content, it kind of, you know, goes back and forth in some cases, but you know, that's not too much negativity there. The vocal performance, I think, for the most part is positive, but there are some negatives to where I'm really questioning why he's singing here and why is he growling there when he should be singing there, stuff like that. But not too much issues with the actual vocal performances. The guitars is where we get a little bit more controversial, at least for me, because the rhythm sections can be catchy and exciting and fun, and it could be just like a great thing to listen to, these rhythm guitars. But then on the other hand, you know, there's some songs that have riffs like the intro to the final song, Filter Truth, I believe that's what it is. I'm not going to look at that again. It's the final track, track number 11. That song, that intro riff is just so dang boring, and it's so irritating because it's like, okay, I heard songs on this album that have very intense and very insane rhythm guitar riffs, and then you have this riff that opens the song and it's bland. So the rhythm guitars can be great, but some of the riffs and some of the ideas around the rhythm guitars, not so great. The melodies, I will have to say that there's some really interesting melodies, some great harmonizing going on there. The solos, for the most part, are great, so that's all there. But really, the negativity comes from the actual rhythm playing itself. But the guitar melodies, harmonizing, guitar solos, for the most part, are very good, and I really enjoyed those. So that's what really pushed up this album a little bit more for the positive rating. At least for a more positive rating. The bass playing, I will have to say, I can hear it when I have really good headphones on, but, you know, I wish the bass was turned up a little bit more so I could hear a little bit more of the playing, but my whole thing is that, you know, I want to hear the bass, I want to hear what the bass player is doing, I want to hear that, so I wish it was turned up a little bit more, but for what it is, it's good. It did help some of these moments on this album where the heaviness does come in, so I will have to give it that, but, it's not much on the bass. Synthesizers, they're there. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's not really helping the song that much. It's just kind of there. So, you know, the synthesizers got some positives where it does enhance the song. It does help the song. Other times, not so much. The drumming, I feel like for the most part, the drumming, I think, is more on the positive side. Now, there are some moments where I feel like the drumming could have been a little bit better, maybe a little bit better of a beat, or a little bit better of, you know, coming up with some more creative ideas to how to kind of enhance the song, kind of make the song more interesting than just a drum pattern I've heard 3 times before on the same album. But for the most part, I feel like the drumming is pretty good on this record, and it does, in my personal opinion, help out this album for what is on this album. Siren Charms is a positive and a negative album. It just depends on how you look at it. For me, it does have its strong moments, like I've been saying, and it has its negative moments. So take it as it is. My take on it is it's a 6.5 out of 10. You know, that's as good as it's going to get for me personally. So I'm curious to know what you guys think about Siren Charms in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, like the video. If you want to see me or more of my stuff, click my name or subscribe to see more. Thank you guys for watching. See ya.